back, everyone, to another episode. Today we have Saturday, March 28th on tap. And you may notice Blake and I's partner in crime, Jack, is not here. And one thing is that Jack knows little to nothing about hockey. And Blake and I decided that because he's not here, it would be the perfect time to chop up a little puck. What do you say, Blake?
Sounds good to me, Liam.
All right, so we kind of want to give a quick little outlook on the league first before we get into some specific topics. One thing that really surprises me, the Sabres headlining the Atlantic Division and possibly the Eastern Conference with 96 points. They're about to end their 15-year playoff drought with the likes of Tage Thompson, Rasmus Dahlin. Just really surprising the surge they've come on. These past couple of years, you could see they had a bunch of young talent that was ready to surge. But for this to happen so quickly and just for it to take form, I mean, kudos to them, congrats. And Lindy Ruff really has those guys. Like, he's got them riled up, and they're ready to go every game. And that's not something you can say about a lot of coaches, and especially given the fact that they've been down in the dumps for this many years. To get them going and to get them running into a wall every single game, I mean, it's just very impressive to see the Sabres team come along. And in a year where the Panthers are so far out of the picture, I mean, that's another thing that's worth talking about. The two-time defending Stanley Cup champs, when they're out of this, the Eastern Conference is wide open. Never mind the league. It's just, you really never know what can take shape here. And I'm interested to get your opinion on this, Blake. I mean, the Sabres about to end that drought. It's just really surprising to me.
Yeah, no, not something I would have seen going into the season. Obviously, one of the weakest franchises there is. Absolutely no playoff success. And for them to be competing with the Hurricanes for the Eastern Conference, huge shock. I mean, happy for their fans. I know it must be tough out there in Buffalo being a fan of the Bills and the Sabres.
Right.
Don't have much going for them, but great season for the Sabres, and, makes it even more sweet that the Panthers are having a horrible season. Greatly underperforming their preseason expectations. I think they're one of the favorites to win the Eastern Conference coming in. So I personally, I love seeing the Panthers do bad, Sabres do good. Kind of a feel-good story for most of the league.
And another thing, the Lightning, too, they're kind of making a resurgence, second in the Atlantic. I feel like they haven't been as much of a powerhouse these previous 2 years. I mean, they had lost Stamkos last year to the Preds, and they're kind of just getting back on their horse. And John Cooper, again, he's leading that team, and they're going to make a strong playoff push. I feel like that they could very well be the team to come out of the Eastern Conference, given the fact that they just had experience. Although it's been a handful of years now, I wouldn't be surprised at all.
Yeah, no, they had their mini dynasty run 6 or 7 years ago, but past couple years it's kind of been a bit underwhelming, I'd say. They're second in the Atlantic. Taking a look, second in the Metro is the Penguins. You want to talk about resurgences?
Yeah, holy
crazy.
Crap. So firing Mike Sullivan and then getting Dan Muse, I knew little to none about Dan Muse coming in. And what he's done with that mix of Ben Kindle, their young up-and-coming draft pick, a bunch of other young guys, and kind of plug pieces like Anthony Mantha, meshing that with Sidney Crosby, Evgeny Malkin, Chris Letang,
Brian Rust,
getting them in there.
Career season, and he's 33 years
right.
old.
And he's getting them in there in these pieces. He's meshing these lines together, and they're producing. I feel like they're putting up at least like 5 goals a game every time I check the scoreboard of their games. It's I just very surprising to me. And then coming into the season, there was that debate of, are the Penguins going to re-sign Evgeny Malkin? They're probably not, because he's pushing 40. But he's been injured a bit. But when he's on the ice, point per game player. Like, this is a career year for him.
He is a difference maker.
Right. Coming back these past 5 years, it's been a career year for him. And I'm very impressed with it. I'm really happy that he's kind of proving himself, because of the fact that the Penguins kind of have that motive to shut him out, even though he's been there for 20 years almost. It's like, I'm not done yet, and I'm going. So I'm going to be very interested to see what the Penguins can do with the remainder of this year, because say what you want, but they were one of the greatest quote-unquote dynasties, only winning back-to-back cups in 2016, 2017. And to see them kind of have this last little push with the big three of Letang, Crosby, and Malkin, I think it's a great thing for hockey fans, and it's a great thing for the city of Pittsburgh.
Yeah, no, I never saw this coming. Kind of a nice little fun story having Ovechkin break the goal record last season.
Right.
Now the Penguins are back.
Right back.
Bring me back to 2010, man.
I know. And now I think we've avoided the gauntlet, the Western Conference, the Avalanche. They're running away with the Central Division, and don't even get me started about the entire West. I mean, the Pacific doesn't really put up a contest. If you're going to talk about the Western Conference, you're going to talk about three teams. You're going to talk about the Colorado Avalanche, the Dallas Stars, and the Minnesota Wild with their addition of Quinn Hughes. Just a very, very scary big three in that Western Conference.
Now, I would also throw the Oilers in there. I just think come playoff time, you have to respect them.
You do.
You know they're dangerous, no matter how they do in the regular season.
You do.
Similar to, Patriots, Chiefs. If you see them in the playoffs, you got to be scared.
And then it's a good thing you say that, Blake, because then Matthew Tkachuk, I remember he was talking about in his podcast with his brother, he was saying that the biggest difference as to why he doesn't feel like the teams have enough juice this season compared to prior seasons is it's not necessarily the physical toll of, oh, my body's aching and I played an extra 2 months into the playoffs and I feel like I'm not as ready as everyone else. It's more of the mental toll. How are you going to get up for game one of the regular season versus when you just played in Game 7, Game 6 of the Stanley Cup Finals? So, again, I'm sure McDavid and Draisaitl, there's a little bit of less of a pick-me-up going into a regular season game, but like you said, once playoffs come around, you got to respect them. I mean, they have a strong core, and they've done it in prior years, and with the likes of Zach Hyman and other role players on that team, I don't think you can just look away right there.
No, they'll make the playoffs for sure in this weak West. So,
but
I think these teams at the top do not want to face these guys round one, round two. But I do think the Avalanche are pretty comfortably the best team in the league right now.
But what's difficult, I think, that a lot of people come to realize is that the Stars and the Wild, those two top of the three teams in the West, they're going to have to face off in the first round. One of those teams is going to get out, which is tough for the playoffs and tough for those teams, but it's just going to be one hell of a first round matchup. And whoever wins that, I mean, they're going to be playing the Avalanche, which is obviously, again, a really tough matchup. You can say all you want about President's Trophy curses, but I think the Avalanche, they're just such a powerhouse, especially at home. And I don't know what factor the altitude plays in, but the Avalanche are coming for the cup. And I think they could, for the first time since 2022, since Denver has really taken a leap as a sports city, I think they could add another one to their collection because McKinnon, Makar, that duo is just freaking dynamite, man.
Insane.
You watch him on the ice, it's like he resembles a young Bobby Orr, and God, it just looks so pretty. And with McKinnon, his IQ on that ice, he's so fast too, and he's such a head up guy with the puck, the plays he makes. I don't know what you're thinking, but I believe that they'll go very, very far, if not.
I mean, the Wild with their acquisition of Jack Hughes, I think, is by far Quinn Hughes, same thing. They're basically the same player.
Right.
They're brothers.
I mean,
enough.
they are.
Close enough.
Brothers for life.
I think they're definitely the biggest threat to the Avalanche. The Stars, always good. Shout out Jamie Benn.
Jamie Benn, Mikko Rantanen, what a pull for them. Holy trade. Beautiful.
So, I don't know. I think if you're looking towards the playoffs, you're expecting to see the Avalanche in the finals, no question.
Yeah.
So that's why I think the Eastern Conference is a lot more interesting. I mean, the parity in the East is just blows the West out of the water.
It's just the fact that the schedule's been so tight this year that I feel like teams just haven't had that moment to like, okay, rest is really going to make and separate these teams, become a difference maker, and showing which teams are better because every game is played so close together and every team's out of gas. It's really just who wants it more on a given night. And when you're all so close in the standings and every game becomes so important for each other team on a given night, it makes it just so inconsistent the way teams are winning.
Now, who do you have coming out of the East? Because obviously out West you have the Avalanche. If the Sabres win the Eastern Conference, they don't have the playoff.
I got to give it to the Lightning.
Yeah.
Just experience, just Braden Point and Nikita Kucherov and obviously Vasilevsky.
Yep.
I mean, they're not old heads yet. They still got something left to give.
Kucherov's got 120 points on the season.
Yeah.
He still has plenty left
to give. And, of course, you can't leave out Victor Hedman.
Jake Gensel.
Right. That was a great addition last year. I have to give it to the Lightning. As much as I would want to say be biased and say the Bruins, I can't They're too young, and they seem too inconsistent at times. And the Canadians, I would say the same. I think besides Nick Suzuki and Cole Caulfield, I think there's a little bit of a lack of depth there.
Confidence in the Metro leaders, the Hurricanes.
The Hurricanes, listen,
They have the experience. Been to the playoff past couple seasons.
I love Rod Brindamore. I love him. He's a very solid coach. But whatever it is, he just hasn't been able to get them over that hump. And say what you want, there's something for getting a team there for the first time and getting them there early. He's been at it for many years now, at least since 2019 from what I can remember, and there's been little to show for it. And I don't think they've made that many upgrades within the team. I mean, they have Seth Jarvis, Sebastian Aho, but they obviously got rid of Mikko Rantanen, and that was a really big blow for them. They couldn't really afford him.
Yep.
I think they're kind of locked with the salary, and I think it shows in their team how consistent it's been. And they've been consistently good, but not consistently great. And that's why I would leave it to either, maybe even the Penguins, because they have experience.
I don't know. I think there are a couple teams that can. I think the Hurricanes are one of them. Like, shout out Jackson Blake taking a big year 2 jump on the Hurricanes team. I personally am probably looking at the Lightning as well. It's tough. I think the West is a lot more defined. East a lot more up in the air. So
yeah, absolutely.
I wouldn't be surprised if 5 different teams, any one of them made the finals from the East.
Absolutely.
I think Bruins have an off chance, but I think Marco Sturm has been what the Bruins needed,
right.
and he's pulling them in the right direction.
It's definitely a retool year. You're trying to get people to believe in a culture, and I think he's done that. I don't think it's their time now. I think it's the time of the teams that have been there before, such as the Lightning, such as the Penguins or the Sabres, and if they run into the Avalanche in the West, I think you could see an abnormality of the President's Trophy curse, and you can see the Colorado Avalanche finally break that curse and win their first Stanley Cup since 2022.